All right, and we are back. We are in chapter 13 of Liberate, Your Journey to Lasting Financial Independence. Chapter 13 is Always Be Learning. And the quote to start off the chapter is attributed to Albert Einstein. Once you stop learning, you start dying. Okay, so let's go ahead and dig in. Learning comes in many different forms, some structured, others unstructured. Nevertheless, all forms of learning can improve your chances of achieving FI, so always have a learning mindset. Learning is the process of acquiring new knowledge, skills, behaviors, or understanding through experience, study, or instruction. When you take in new information, the neural structures in your brain change. Your brain adds this information to existing knowledge and creates new pathways, linking this data to previous information, memories, and experiences. It builds on existing information, resulting in the ability to perform new tasks, understand new concepts, or modify existing behaviors. Learning happens all the time. It is not limited to formal classroom instruction, nor does it end when you leave school. The books you read, the places you visit, the people you meet, and the personal experiences you have all contribute to your continual learning. In short, learning is fundamental to individual and cognitive development. Continuous learning. To overcome the fear of poverty, take action. Take massive action. To get over financial ignorance, study hard. Incorporate selective financial books into your daily reading routine. And make the most of your spare time by listening to audiobooks on financial topics. Write down what you're learning and commit it to memory. I believe that it really isn't ingrained into you until you can explain an idea or principle to someone else. Thirst for knowledge by becoming a sponge and soaking up as much as possible. Commit to having an always be learning attitude. I think I've always loved learning, though I didn't enjoy all my high school classes or many of my college general education courses, but I've always been curious and motivated by my interests. When I began pursuing my master's in finance and later my doctorate in business administration, I rediscovered that love for learning. I enjoyed it because I was genuinely interested. Personal finance and investing were my passions, and studying them made reading and learning exciting. My wife thought it was odd that I preferred reading textbooks over novels, but I didn't mind. After graduating, I had the freedom to choose exactly what I wanted to learn. Instead of merely writing my doctoral dissertation, I made a list of my passions and dove deeper into them. Over the years, my interests have broadened, but one constant has remained: my love for learning. Okay, let's go ahead and do this next section here. Stay strong through hardships. Trials, hardships, and failures come in various forms. Some are monetary, but others are physical, spiritual, mental, or emotional. Some trials are the consequences of your poor decisions, while others are imposed upon you by others or simply circumstances out of your control. No one wants trials, hardships, and failures. Still, when put in the proper perspective and dealt with appropriately, these difficulties can strengthen you as you endure the fire of affliction. I'm not saying that you desire any of your trials or they're easy to endure. We all have our own unique challenges and circumstances. However, you can choose to let them drag you down or build you up. Through your trials, you become more mentally and emotionally resilient and gain valuable perspective. That newfound perspective will guide you to better future outcomes. You may even find opportunities to mentor someone going through a similar situation that you endured. Your support and wisdom may be just the strength they need at that particular moment. While you don't hope for trials, hardships, and failures, face them with a perspective of positivity and learning to gain as much as you can to emerge a better person. Abraham Lincoln, for example, had plenty of strikes against him. He was born into an impoverished family, and his mother died when he was just a boy. As a young man, Lincoln tried his hand at business, but every business he started failed. Even his political career started out rough. Lincoln was defeated in local, state, and regional elections long before he was elected President of the United States. These challenges and failures, however, molded Lincoln into the man he became and cemented his values and beliefs. Despite his failures and missteps, Lincoln remained resilient. As president, he led the U.S. during its most trying time in its history, the American Civil War. He drew on his high moral compass to advocate for the abolition of slavery and was unwavering in his stance amid pushback from pro-slavery rivals. Lincoln remains one of the most admired presidents in U.S. history, not only for his accomplishments in leadership, but because he models how to turn adversity and setbacks into personal conviction, steadfastness, and generosity. As a child, Thomas Edison was ridiculed by his teachers for being a slow learner. In adulthood, he was fired from several jobs for being unproductive. Edison was challenged by his wandering attention span. Yet, as an inventor, he demonstrated remarkable focus and tenacity. He was so determined to find a way to make an electric light bulb that he tried experiment after experiment until he finally found success. When asked about his failures and why he continued to experiment, Edison famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This statement is the epitome of a positive attitude, the attitude that turned this failed student into one of America's greatest inventors. Believe it or not, Albert Einstein struggled as a schoolboy, and it has been theorized, battled with a learning disability. His lessons didn't come easy for him, and he had a hard time finding a position in academia after he graduated. However, Einstein, who was always intellectually curious, remained passionate about science and continued to learn and study on his own. The setbacks he encountered only fueled his persistence. When Einstein developed his groundbreaking theory of relativity, he revolutionized the field of physics. Today, Einstein's name is synonymous with genius. Success teaches you valuable lessons, but failure is often an even better teacher. Let's face it, your trials, hardships, and failures are what truly strengthen you. All right, let's go ahead and pause there. We'll pick it up in our next video with Don't Let Fear of Failure Stop You from Starting. Thanks for being here with me today, and we'll see you in just a moment.